I couldn't move. The necklace around my neck tightened like a noose, constricting my breath, digging into my skin with an icy, unyielding grip. I clawed at it desperately, but the more I struggled, the tighter it seemed to become. My vision blurred, the room spinning in a kaleidoscope of shadows and flickering candlelight. I stumbled, falling to my knees, gasping for air, my mind screaming in terror. How had it come to this? It all began 2 months ago, when I first found the necklace. I was antiquing with my friend, Sarah, in a quaint little town a few hours' drive from the city. We loved exploring old shops, unearthing forgotten treasures, and imagining the lives of their previous owners. That day, however, would turn out to be far different from our usual adventures. The shop was small and dimly lit, filled with an assortment of dusty relics and curiosities. I was rummaging through a box of trinkets when I saw it, a delicate silver necklace, with an ornate pendant that glimmered even in the low light. The pendant was an intricate design of intertwined vines, encircling a dark, polished stone that seemed to absorb the light around it. "Look at this," I called to Sarah, holding up the necklace. She came over, her eyes widening as she saw it. "Wow, that's beautiful. You should get it," she said, admiring the craftsmanship. I hesitated for a moment, but something about the necklace drew me in. It felt as if it was meant for me, calling out to me in a way I couldn't quite explain. I decided to buy it, not knowing that my decision would set off a chain of events that would soon spiral out of control. The first few days after bringing the necklace home were uneventful. I wore it occasionally, enjoying the way it looked and how it made me feel. But then, strange things began to happen. It started with small, almost unnoticeable occurrences, cold drafts in my apartment despite closed windows, shadows that seemed to move on their own, whispers in the dead of night that I dismissed as my imagination. One evening, I was sitting on my couch, reading, when I felt a sudden chill. I looked up and saw my reflection in the mirror across the room. The pendant of the necklace glowed faintly, an eerie blue light pulsing from its center. I blinked, and the light was gone. Unease settled in my stomach, but I brushed it off, convincing myself that it was just a trick of the light. The dreams started soon after. Night after night, I found myself wandering through a dense, dark forest, the air thick with fog. I was always searching for something, though I didn't know what. The only constant was the feeling of being watched, a presence lurking just out of sight. I would wake up drenched in sweat, the pendant cold against my skin. Things escalated quickly. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, echoing in my mind even when I was awake. I began seeing fleeting glimpses of a shadowy figure in the corners of my vision, disappearing whenever I turned to look. My sleep was plagued by nightmares, and I started avoiding the necklace, leaving it in a drawer, hoping that distance would diminish its hold on me. It didn't. One night, I woke up to find the necklace back around my neck, the pendant glowing ominously. I tried to remove it, but the clasp wouldn't budge. It was as if the necklace had a will of its own, tightening its grip every time I tried to take it off. Panic set in, and I spent hours trying to pry it loose, to no avail. Desperation led me to search for answers. I scoured the internet, looking for any information about the necklace, but found nothing. I visited the antique shop again, but the owner had no recollection of selling it to me. It was as if the necklace had never existed, except for the chilling reality of its presence around my neck. Sarah grew concerned as she saw my deteriorating condition. I confided in her about everything, the whispers, the figure, the nightmares. She suggested seeing a psychic, someone who might have more knowledge about cursed objects. Though skeptical, I agreed, having exhausted all other options. The psychic, an elderly woman with piercing eyes, listened to my story with a grave expression. She examined the necklace without touching it, her face growing pale. "This is not just a cursed object," she said in a hushed tone. "It is a conduit, a link to something ancient and malevolent. You must get rid of it, but doing so will not be easy." She gave me a ritual to perform, a way to sever the connection between the necklace and whatever dark force it was tied to. That night, I prepared everything as instructed, lighting candles and drawing symbols with chalk on the floor. I stood in the center of the circle, the necklace heavy around my neck, reciting the incantation she had given me. The air grew thick, the shadows deepening. The pendant glowed brighter and brighter, the light pulsating in time with my racing heart. The whispers turned raged, more solid and terrifying than ever before. It lunged into screams, and the shadowy figure aimed at me, and the necklace tightened, cutting off my breath. And now, here I am, on the floor, the room spinning, my vision fading. I can feel the presence closing in, its cold breath on my neck. The necklace tightens further, and I know I don't have much time. My fingers are numb, my strength waning. As the darkness engulfs me, I realize that I may have underestimated the power of the curse. The last thing I see is the pendant, glowing fiercely, as if it's consuming my very soul. In my final moments, I understand that some objects are meant to remain forgotten, their dark histories buried with them. The cursed necklace had claimed another victim, and its malevolent journey would continue, seeking the next unsuspecting soul to ensnare in its deadly grip.